Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Hour of Code Live for Africa Code Week. We have a great session for you today. And to get started, I want to introduce my co-host, Adi. Ademola Aljide Ajadi is a team manager at SAP Ireland and works on Africa Code Week. Passionate about EdTech, creativity, and innovation, Adi is the founder of Code Arena, an NGO working to promote and strengthen coding and STEM skills acquisition among African students and teachers. He is involved in several STEM coding initiatives such as EU Code Week, Coder Dojo, and First Lego League, and he holds a master's degree in computer science. Welcome, Adi.
Thank you so much, Caroline, for having me.
Great.
Very nice to be here today.
That's great.
It looks like this is going to be an exciting session.
Yes, very excited about our guests we have today. So let's get started. We have two great guests, Nancy Sumari and Stella Uzochukwu here. We're going to take some time to chat with each of them and demo Dance Party and AI for Oceans. But before we introduce them, let's share why we're here today, the Hour of Code and Africa Code Week initiatives. For those that haven't tried an Hour of Code before, the Hour of Code started as a 1-hour introduction to computer science to show that anyone can learn. It is now a worldwide effort to celebrate CS, starting with 1-hour coding activities, but expanding to all sorts of community efforts. We have tutorials in over 45 languages, and this grassroots campaign is supported by over 400 partners and 200,000 educators worldwide. We like to say that you can do an Hour of Code anytime, whether it's during Computer Science Education Week, Africa Code Week, or any other time of the year. So Adi and I have been working together the past couple of years on these initiatives. And with that, I'd like to pass it over to Adi to talk about Africa Code Week.
Thank you so much, Caroline. So for those of you who don't know what Africa Code Week is, Africa Code Week is the biggest digital literacy initiative on the continent of Africa. It focuses on SDG 4, which is providing quality education to the youth in Africa. And we also focus on SDG 17. We support that because we believe in partnerships. It will take the collaborative will of all of us playing in the sector, in the private sector, the third sector, and the public sector to do the right, to make education, to bring quality education to the youth of Africa. So we work on the program in partnership with the likes of UNESCO, Irish Aid, ADIA, and so many other, Code.org, and so many other fantastic organizations. So it's a program that builds capacity for teachers and young learners across Africa. We teach them coding. And it's not because we think every child will become a coder when they grow up. It's not because we believe that every child will become a doctor or work in the STEM, one of the STEM careers. It's because we believe that the skill set and competencies that they gain learning how to code will stay with them for the rest of their lives. Lifelong learning skills. So the program started in 2015, and we scaled to 54 countries. In 2015, we only just started in South Africa and Morocco and a few other countries. And in 2000 last year, we scaled to 54 countries, meaning the pandemic provided us with challenges as well as opportunity to scale this to a wider audience, because now we could take this virtual. So to date, we've been able to empower over 9 million youth across Africa. And we've been able to empower over 50,000 teachers. Just think about it in the sense of the multiplier effect of training 50,000 teachers. How many kids will pass through those teachers for as long as they continue to work as teachers? So this is our sustainability plan to make this very sustainable for for the learners across Africa. And what's interesting is that 47% of the beneficiaries of Africa Code Week are girls and female teachers, because we also focus on gender inclusion. So we have different components of Africa Code Week. We have the African Code Challenge, which is the biggest coding competition on the continent of Africa, which we run once in a year. It's an opportunity for us for the beneficiaries of the program to show us learning outcomes. What have you been able to realize? What have you been able to learn and master in the past 56 years that we've been running the program? So African Code Challenge is out there for every child, every young learner to participate in across Africa. We also have the Women Empowerment Program. As the name suggests, it's a program for women teachers to build leadership skills, classroom facilitation skills, even entrepreneurship skills, and all those skills that they could cascade to students or young people that they teach that would help shape their life and prepare them for the future of work. So the final one is last year, we created an app because we realized that mobile penetration in Africa is huge. And we wanted to tap into the opportunity for young learners to be able to access our resources on any device, on demand, anywhere, at any time, online or offline. So we have a lot of unplugged activities. In fact, we have some of Africa How of Code resources on the app as well. So for those of you who don't know already, that there's an app out there for you to download and learn how to code. You can search on the App Store, the Google Play Store to download it. So to follow the journey of Africa Code Week, follow us on our Twitter page, Africa Code Week, at Africa Code Week. And our website is www.africacodeweek.org. And we're on Instagram, we're live on the social media. Thank you so much. I hope I haven't talked too much.
No, that was great. Always love to hear about Africa Code Week. Thanks, Adi. Now I'd like to introduce our first guest, Nancy Sumari. Nancy Sumari is a published author, businesswoman, and award-winning social entrepreneur from Tanzania. Nancy is the founder of the Jenga Hub. The Jenga Hub is a makerspace and learning lab whose vision is to reimagine learning to build a community of children and youth leveraging technology to create value and transform lives. The Hub's main purpose is to empower children to learn through crafting more wholesome learning experiences through technology and applying design thinking. The Hub's goal is to see children thrive creatively to become better learners and thinkers. She is contributing to breed a new generation of responsible, committed, and digitally empowered citizens. Welcome, Nancy. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Caroline. Happy to be here.
So great. Adi, I believe you have some questions for Nancy.
Yes, I do have some questions for Nancy. Nancy, very nice seeing you here today. So I have a couple of questions, and it's just to get a sense of what you're doing and how you're doing what you're doing and the impact that you're making. So my first question is, how did you begin to get involved with computer science?
Well, that's a very good question. So when the Jenga Hub was established, we wanted to really think about how we mitigate the challenges that are in education systems across Africa today. Teacher-student ratios are very much numbers that really, to be honest, are one of the biggest challenges, lack of resources, infrastructure problems. And we quickly realized that one of the ways that we wanted to, or one of the tools that was going to be very sustainable was technology, and ways in which we might be able to empower the children and the teachers and various stakeholders in education to make sure that we're mitigating some, if not all of these challenges that are being faced today. And so we quickly started to establish school clubs where we would train teachers and empower them with digital literacy skills. And then through them, they further empower the children within the primary school settings. And then we've slowly grown that footprint into secondary schools as well, and working very closely with community centers across Tanzania to see ways in which we might also be able to use technology and digital literacy as the tool that will ensure and empower children and ensure access to the right content and education materials that will allow them to participate fully in the development agenda.
That's very interesting. So something very interesting you mentioned there is the poverty of infrastructure. So that became even more evident last year because of the pandemic. So the past couple of years have been particularly very difficult for education, more so even made more complex last year. As I said, how has your work changed with the pandemic? And how are you bridging? So two questions in one, how are you bridging that? How are you solving that problem of poverty of infrastructure?
I think one of the things that continued to be highlighted among the challenges was the issue of access, and it's access outside of the normal school setting that we are used to. And so I like what you said about mobile phone penetration, and that's how we essentially pivoted. We quickly assembled the teachers that we had trained across the years, and then wanted to make sure that we're depositing resources and curriculums in these feature phones, offline and offline, available on demand and so on. And so worked very, very closely with different community members, including parents, who really rose up to the challenge to ensure that no child was left behind. So I think even though it highlighted the issues around access, but it also reiterated the importance of empowering stakeholders, various stakeholders within the education system. So when we're talking about children and empowering them with technology, how are we also ensuring that people who are facilitating learning are also empowered enough such that in the cases of pandemics or any other challenges that might force us to rethink education, we're really rising up to that challenge with various stakeholders. So I'm very glad that our parents and our teachers really were very instrumental in making sure that in any case and in various forms, various children are accessing materials to ensure continued learning. Thank
you so much. So my next question is, why do you think it's very important for young African learners to embrace or learn computer science?
Well, first of all, I think because Africa is such a young continent, the bulk of our population is young people. We should be able to empower them with skills of the future. We have a lot of challenges in our continent, but also there is a lot of opportunity, right? And I think technology gives us that power and that mandate to be able to solve problems within our contexts in our own way using these tools. There are various fantastic innovations that are coming out of the continent. There are very many technology solutions that are very contextual to us, and they're solving our problems in a way that we really didn't imagine before. And we have technology to thank for that. And more than technology to thank for is computer science and digital literacy skills. So I think it's really, really important to really ensure that all of our young people are getting these skills so that they may be able to translate it in a way that is meaningful to themselves and to their community as well.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Yeah, I hear you loud and clear. The skill set that they need to learn now that will prepare them for the future of work and even for the world of entrepreneurship. So it's very essential to start to get that right from now. So what initiatives do the Gender Hub as an organization carry out to support or to provide young learners opportunity to learn computer science? Well,
like I mentioned before, we've established code clubs with our partner schools. We train a lot of teachers and parents as well with coding skills and computer science skills, so that they may be able to carry out this learning beyond the classroom. But one of the other things is that we want to translate and contextualize coding curriculums in various languages that can be able to be accessible to children across Tanzania. We're a very diverse country, and we want to make sure that this material is being accessed in a language that is friendly, but in also avenues that are very friendly as well. So we obviously admire the work that Africa Code Week does, and code.org as well, and that's why we're very happy to continue to learn from you and to continue to use whatever resources that are available to us, to also ensure that we're doing our bit to empower our communities in Tanzania.
Thank you so much, Nancy, for the great work that you're doing out there. So bring Caroline back to see, maybe Caroline has one or two questions for you also.
Yes, Nancy, I wanted to see if you were ready to explore dance party together.
Of course, it's one of our users' favorite favorite challenge to do on Hour of Code and code.org.
Great. Yes, it's definitely one of our favorites at code.org as well. So before we get started in the tutorial, I want to talk about the concept of events. An event is, an event tells your program to listen for something to happen and then react right away. I'm wondering if you think we can create a program with events, just the two of us. Cool. Let's try it. So if we paired a letter with a move, then that would be an event. So I've gone ahead and matched A, B, and C with 3 different moves. A will be a clap, B will be a point move, and C will be an arm wave. So for example, when you say B, I will do a point move. How does that sound? Great. So why don't you go ahead and verbally say a mix of A, B, and C's, and I will react.
All right. C, A, and B.
That was great. So that was an event. We just created that. And now I think that we should take a look at Dance Party and see how we can use events to make these dancers move. So let me go ahead and pull that up. Great. Okay. So I already have it set up. So our character's on the screen, the cat, but the cat won't be able to move until we add our event block. So our event block here, when up is pressed, what dance move should we have the cat do? So we have, let's see, all of these options.
Shall we try the body roll?
Let's try it. And we can have it go to the left or the right. Which one?
The right, yeah.
Okay. And it's very important to make sure that we have the cat matched up here, or else it wouldn't work. So let's go ahead and run our code, and I will be pressing the up button. Amazing. You took the body roll. Okay, great. So let's add some measures to the mix. Let's connect our event blocks to music measures to make this shark dance to the music. After 4 measures, what should we have the shark do?
Let's see. Shall we? Let's do the double down.
Double down. Okay. To the left or right?
Left this time.
Okay. Great. Let's try it. That was great. I'm thinking it would be pretty boring though to have the same dance move for a full song. So what if we change the dance move after a few measures? And let's also add a background and some backup dancers. What do you think the background should be?
Let's go with tropical as an ode to Dar es Salaam, where we are.
Great. And we can have an effect as well if we want one.
We could go with laser dance floor.
Okay, that sounds like a fun combination. So let's have our front and center character. What would we like that to be this time?
Let's see. Well, we could stay with unicorn.
Okay, yeah, I like unicorn. And then let's have our backup dancers come after 4 measures. So we will add them then. What would you like our backup dancers to be?
Well, who would typically dance with a unicorn? Pineapples to match the tropics?
Yeah, oh yeah, that works. I like that. And how many of them should we have? We can have
maybe not too many, right? Maybe let's try 7 because that's a lucky number.
Okay, I like that number. And what format will we like them
in? They could go with diamond.
Diamond, that's great. Okay, so now we have to decide what dance moves they're going to do. So let's see. After 4 measures, or let's change it. Let's let the unicorn start dancing before they come on. I think that would be cool. So we need to have the unicorn do what dance?
Well, they could do fresh.
Fresh, I like that. And then maybe after 4 measures, we don't need to add that again. Actually, we can put it here. So after 4 measures, what should we have the pineapples do?
What goes with fresh?
Great question.
Should they do the floss?
Yeah, let's try that. And then do we want to change it? So after maybe 8 measures, they all do something together?
They could all sort of finish with a, let's see, they could do maybe Gangnam.
Okay, let's try that one. Let's go ahead and run it and see how it looks. Great.
I hope I won't be asked to reenact all these dances myself.
It'd be nice to have both of you do that.
Yeah, that's part 2.
Yeah,
that's part 2. People have to stay tuned. Okay, that was great. So we could continue on, as I'm sure you know, and come up with endless creations, but instead, let's challenge our viewers to experiment on their own and do an hour of code with Dance Party at home.
Yeah.
So thanks for helping us dance our way through learning events, Nancy.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks for joining.
Okay, so we can bring on another great guest.
Yes.
And that's Stella.
Yes, now we have Stella. So I'd like to introduce Stella Uzochukwu-Denis. Stella is an educational technologist, electronics engineer, a STEM evangelist, and enthusiast with Odyssey Educational Foundation. She is the program coordinator of the Invest It, Build It with the Society of Women Engineers. She is also a certified Microsoft trainer training teachers on best practices on the use of technology as a tool for teaching. Named as one of the 25 Women in Robotics 2017 and an alumni of Tech Women, a program organized by the Department of States in the US, she also serves as an ambassador for Girl Rising, Society of Women Engineers, and the New York Academy of Science. Wow, welcome, Stella.
Thank you so much, Nancy. I'm so sorry, Caroline.
No worries.
It's a pleasure having me today.
Yes, it's so great to have you here.
Thank you so much.
And now I want to pass it back over to Adi because he has a few questions for you.
Okay.
Did we lose Adi? Oh, there he is.
Yeah, I think you lost me, or we lost everybody.
Oh, okay.
I think it's you who lost.
Okay, you lost me for a minute. That's my internet acting up.
I see you now. I think we're ready to go.
Okay. Can you see me yet?
Yes, we can.
Hello?
Yes, we see.
Okay, so that's IT happening. Computer freezing up. Stella, I have a couple of questions for you. I hope you don't mind that I'm starting with the questions. So how did you begin to get involved with computer science? We heard about the great work that you're doing in Nigeria, working on robotics, working on coding, technovation, and all this other stuff that you do. How did you get involved? How did you begin? How did it all start for you?
Okay, I would like to go back a little bit to growing up, because it all started for me growing up. So I have a first degree in electrical electronics. And when I was coming up, I saw the link between computer and electrical electronics. But then computers were sacred. I mean, my younger brother was reading computer science in the same school. So I keep visiting him in his department. But I saw that the computers they had in their department was sacred. I mean, it was just a monument. So that got me thinking, now what is in this box, and all that. So that that made me begin to ask questions, and then began, before you know it, my younger brother had to set up the computer science, a computer hub where he was teaching little kids. And then before that, we began to think that we saw one guy, I think his name is Chidetu, when we were young. He virtually closes his eyes and uses the system. And we thought he was a witch, I tell you. So we had to demystify a lot of things around it. So with time, I saw that it was a necessary tool. I mean, it wasn't just a luxury, it was a necessary tool for every child growing up. So I began to venture, ask questions, and I think that's how I also came across you. I did a lot of inquiry, and then I also got across to code.org, and since they had a structured curriculum that you can actually use to teach children. And in fact, what got me very involved with code.org is the day I saw that they wrote that it's for people between 4 and 102, I think 106 years. Yeah. So I was like, wow, that's a great one. So basically that's how I got into it, and I saw that there was a great gap and skills that kids could learn to help them in their future. And of course, this is a digital economy. I mean, we can't run away from it. So basically, that's how I got involved and entangled in a lot of things around it.
Very interesting. So you honestly, I haven't heard anyone explain it better than how you just explained it. It's required for everybody. It's required for, it's lifelong learning. It's for kids 2 to 106. I'll add maybe a couple more years to that to make it 120. So, or for as long as you live. So now the pandemic happened last year, and we're still right in the middle of it. How is your job or work and all that you do, all the programs that you run, all those fantastic work that you've been doing over the years that you built up to what you was in 2019, how has it changed since the pandemic?
Yeah, when the pandemic started, we thought it was impossible to teach computer science over a computer. So let me just say it like that. We thought, because it needs hands-on skills and all that, so you actually need to be there for the person to be able to understand. And then a lot of parents too, especially here in Africa, thought it was also impossible for this kind of skills to be learned without you having a one-on-one feel. But the pandemic taught us that, and quickly taught us that it's not impossible. And so we saw that a lot of things began to change. In fact, I had an inquiry yesterday and I told the person, oh, we're going to do online. He said, oh, I'm fine with it. Well, before now, if you say we're going to do an online course for computer, they will say it's not possible. So it has changed our reach, because we can actually sit in our offices and be able to reach out to so many more people, and at the same time, and just like what is happening before now, maybe code.org would have been thinking, oh, we have to bring all these people together in a space. But right now, it's all changed, and the pandemic made us swallow it, because by force, whether we liked it or not. So my work has changed. I'm able to reach more people at the same time. I don't have to travel all the way for me to be able to be involved in a lot of things. So the pandemic has actually changed our work, and more kids have begun to, and more parents have begun to understand that we need the device to be able to make your child also participate in some of those things. So basically, that's it.
Very, very interesting. So I posed the same question to the guest who came before you. Now we've transitioned from in-person, hands-on, experiential, hands-on learning with people to virtual, or hybrid form, where you need to teach over the internet. And there's a serious issue around access, around infrastructure. There's a big poverty of infrastructure in Africa, and there's very low internet penetration rate in certain parts of Nigeria, for instance, and other parts of Africa. How have you been able to overcome this with the transition that you're making into virtual training?
Yeah, I want to say great kudos to code.org. I know I was in the conference 2 years ago. That was in, what's the name of the city now? I can't remember. Well, it's in one of the cities. And a lot of us mentioned that because of the penetration of internet, we would want to advocate for offline. And we saw that coming. So we can actually have these things dumped on our system for everyone to partake of it. And I heard you while you were giving the opening speech or whatever, when you were talking, you mentioned that you now have an app so that can actually sit on everyone's phone to be able to start learning to code. Yeah, so access for internet. And the young man who won the Global Teacher Award of 100 million 2 years ago from Kenya, Peter, he goes up to 8 kilometers or 10 kilometers to charge one laptop. And then he's able to download some of the things on it and then come back to school to teach these children. And they were able to run on competitions and a lot of things. So it didn't stop them. They were able to, because of the those things he could download. So they didn't have internet in the village where he was teaching, but these children did not lack, things that were evident or that were available on the internet. So the teacher was also doing that. I think he got an award of 100 million 2 years ago. He's from Kenya, Peter. So I even met him. I think I met him at the conference 2 years ago in the US. So, I mean, we just learn to solve our problem in a peculiar way so that we don't get caught off because given reasons or excuses for not being excluded is not it at all. So we should, and so a lot of solutions are coming offline that everyone can be involved in.
Very good. What I heard you say is you people from virtual, from physical to virtual, because you have the will and you want to really make this, make an impact in the environment that you live in, and whatever obstacles you face, you're going to try to surmount them, and that's the spirit. That's the spirit. Yeah. So, and that leads me to this question: what are your key goals as an organization? I mean, Odyssey Foundation. What are the key goals that you? What is your North Star? Where are you heading?
Yeah. We're heading to ensure that every African child is able to be represented on the cyberspace, is able to be represented, have a recognition when it comes to digital technology, and is able to, and especially the girl child, because of course, I know what it is. In my class, we had very few girls, and I was a judge recently in one of the programs that had the National Association of all computer science students in the whole of Nigeria, and we had just 4 girls, and we had over 40 teams. So there's a need for us to cover up this space, and Odyssey Educational Foundation is running in this space to ensure that the goal of ensuring that every child is not left behind, as one of the SDGs says, and that education too is not only for the rich. And we're trying to ensure that we reach out to the indigent, the underserved in Nigeria, for them to become to have a voice when it comes to digital technology. So basically, that's what we do.
Very good. It's good to see people like yourself and Nancy role modeling that women or girl involvement in STEM or STEAM or computer science. And I'm sure a lot of girls are watching today, and some of them will be reaching out to you to find out, how do we key into this? How do we become like you? How do we further our career in the area of STEM? So why do you think it's very important? I know you talked about this in part, but are there other reasons that you think are very important for young learners in Africa to learn computer science?
Yeah, like you also said when you were talking, I want to quote you. You mentioned that we teach these kids computer science, coding, and all that, not because we want all of them to become computer scientists like you are, or we want them to all become medical doctors or be in the technology space, but like you said, the skills they acquire are actually used to help them become whatever they want to become. Because right now we're talking about all of us becoming lifelong learners, and those skills like team playing, collaboration, and all that we all get while we're learning to code and all that are some of the skills for the future. And there's a need for every child in Africa to also run and have these skills in them. That will help us become what we want to be in the very near future.
Thank you so much. So if kids want to get involved in coding and they want to contact Odyssey Education Foundation, how do they reach out to you?
Oh yes, we're on Facebook as Odyssey Educational Foundation. We're also on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We are also on the website. Just Google us and then you'll find us. Basically, that's that.
Right.
And we have mentioned we're global now, so distance is no more a barrier. Thank you.
Yeah, the internet is shrunk on the world. Okay, so it's a good time. Thank you so much, Stella. Really appreciate the good work that you're doing in Africa, most especially in Nigeria. I think it's the point. It's that time again to bring you back, Caroline, and let's do some activities with Stella.
Okay.
Great. Thanks so much, Adi.
You're welcome.
Stella, are you ready to talk about artificial intelligence and machine learning?
Oh, sure, I am.
Great. So artificial intelligence is a really broad term, and it basically means anytime a computer does something that seems to be intelligent. But before we talk about artificial intelligence, let's talk about human intelligence. Humans are the most intelligent things on Earth, right? But what is it that a human is good at? So Stella, can you help me think of some ways that humans are smarter than other mammals?
Oh, yeah, humans are smarter than, are really smart because we can discern. I can actually discern, like looking at your face. Sometimes when I see you, I could say, Caroline, it looks you're not happy today. Did you wake up on the right side? You know, we're able to discern, we're able to recognize patterns. I mean, if it's happening this way today, it must happen this way or very close to this way the next time. We also learn from trial and error. So basically, that's why we say humans are intelligent. And today, I think machines are beginning to, before now, we used to say computers were just garbage in and garbage out. Right now, they are no more. So we're adding a lot of stuff on them, learning, using them to learn, are teaching them, and then they become artificially intelligent. So basically, I think that's it.
Yeah, that was great. You really hit the nail on the head there. What makes humans unique is discernment, intuition, and recognizing patterns and learning from trial and error. So our brains learn to do these things, and that is what AI is starting to help computers do, learning to recognize patterns and trial and error. And machine learning is how computers recognize patterns and make decisions without being explicitly programmed. So that's all about what AI for Oceans talks about. And I'd like to do a little bit of that activity with you if you are interested.
Nice.
Great. Let's get started. I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
Okay. So here is our AI bot. It does not know the difference between fish and trash, but it can recognize patterns. So let's see if we can train the AI bot to learn the difference between fish and trash. So, is this a fish?
Yes, it's a fish.
Okay, yeah, let's say that's a fish. Is this a fish?
Yes, it's a fish. A fish.
Yes. What about this one?
Fish.
Fish.
A fish.
And we get our first fact, and that is that 17 billion pounds of plastic enter the ocean each year. Now we're going to keep going. Is this fish?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What about this?
A fish.
What about this one?
A trash.
Trash.
Not a fish. Not a fish.
Not a fish.
Okay. A fish.
Fish.
A fish.
Fish.
A fish. A fish.
Fish.
Not a fish.
And now we get our second fact. 80% of ocean pollution comes from land debris, and it's estimated to cost 13 billion per year. So AI learns from our choices. If we make wrong choices, AI will repeat our mistakes. So the more that we train AI bot, the better it gets. But let's continue and see how we've done so far. So let's see if AI knows what a fish looks like based on what we've already trained it to do. So let's see. so here are some objects that AI bot identified as fish. And let's see how we did. So these are fish, but we do have a lot of trash in there still. And then here's what AI bot identified as trash, which is good. We only have one fish there.
Only one fish, yeah.
So if we train AI bot more, maybe we can get to less trash. Let's go on to the next. So now we're going to train AI bot with a new question. And that question is, does this object belong in water? So we're going to add other sea creatures into the mix and see what happens. So AI only learns what we teach it, because we didn't get any sea creatures when we were training AI bot.
Yeah.
So that is an important lesson. And we're going to now teach AI bot to answer the question, does this belong in the water? So what do we think? Does this belong in the water?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
No.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Our third fact. In the ocean, plastic debris can harm fish, seabirds, and marine mammals. Protecting seabirds and marine life is one of many reasons to keep the ocean clean. Okay, so let's train AI bot a little bit more.
No.
So no.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. No. Yes. Yes. No. Yes. Yes. No. I'm not sure what it is.
Okay, let's go ahead and see how we've done so far with this. So we are hoping that AI bot will do a better job identifying the sea creatures before with the new question.
Right.
It's looking okay so far. Let's pull it up. So here are objects that belong in water. So a lot of them do, not too much trash. Let's see, these are the things that don't belong in water. Oh, and that's really good. That's all trash. So one of the important lessons that we just learned is that it's important what questions you are using to train the machine. If we continued on with the lesson, we'd have the opportunity to train AI more, because the more data we give it, the better it understands our patterns. So thank you, Stella, for helping us understand how AI and machine learning work.
Thank you, Caroline.
Thanks. And now I'd like to have everyone back on screen so that we can say thanks. We've come to the end of our time together, but before we go, Adi, I want to say thank you for being an amazing co-host. And Adi and I want to thank you, Nancy and Stella, both for being guests today. We're so excited by the work you both are doing. We hope you all at home have enjoyed watching this and take our challenge to do an hour of Dance Party or AI for Oceans on your own. So anything you all want to say?
I can just echo what you said, Caroline. Thank you so much, Nancy and Stella. Fantastic work you're doing, and you inspire us all day long. And we just keep, being in awe of your work. And we're here to support you in any form that you require. Please reach out to Africa Code Week if you need any of our resources, or code.org if you need anything from the group. we'd be more than happy to support.
Thank you
Absolutely.
so much. It's been such a pleasure to join you all and to continue to learn and hear of new progress that you're making in the quest of digital literacy for all. I'm really inspired by Stella as well. I really am so grateful to have been in this conversation with you. And yeah, let's just keep pushing, and hopefully we will be able to have all African children equipped with computer science and contributing meaningfully in this digital literacy journey.
Yeah, thank you all. I'm also very, very inspired by what you're doing, honestly, Nancy. And I thank you, Caroline, for putting me on spots today. And thank you, Mr. Jide. I call him Oga Boss. He knows why. That's what I call him. So it's my pleasure being here today, and I'm grateful I did participate today. So Nancy, I think we would catch up beyond now, yeah, so that we can
Please,
see.
I would like that.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much.